Good afternoon and good evening to you, the level of the show. Pepper today of Pink Granels, but in your world, hello there. Welcome to Q&A Thursday. Why is it not Q&A Wednesday, Dave? Simply, couldn't get around to doing it yesterday. Being Halloween on Tuesday, was really busy this week sorting out Halloween. Where I live, we do a walkthrough every Halloween where, you know, there's scares and creepy tunnels and all that lot. So I've been busy doing that this week, and I haven't had a chance to get around to doing the video. I thought I might get a chance to around to do Q&A Wednesday yesterday, and I couldn't do it. Also, sounds strange because of Halloween, because there was a lot of screaming and that going on. So my voice is kind of like, you know, an octave lower, or it feels like it is. It's very, very weird, and it tends to cut out a bit. So bear with me if my voice goes like that. So yes, anyway, Q&A Thursday today, technically. I will be back to Q&A Wednesday next week. Just this week has been chaotic, to say the least, and I haven't got around to doing proper videos, which has been a bit mad. Okay, so anyway, let's get to Q&A number thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know, I'm tired. Okay, let's move on. Question 1. How did you learn to sing, and how did you learn to sing and play the guitar? I don't know if I would class myself as a singer. More of a try to be singer. I'm not a good singer. I'm a terrible singer. But I just learned by just throwing myself in the deep end, really, more than anything. When Gimbal, the band who I spoke about in my the music box video, when that band ended, I couldn't find a singer who wanted to do the music I wanted to do, which was my own music, and it was bluesy, rocky, Rory Gallagher, Jimi Hendrix type stuff. So I couldn't find a singer who wanted to do that, and I had a gig booked, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, and I thought that'll do. I'll just throw myself in the deep end and learn to sing. And I'd already done backing vocals in Gimbal, so I wasn't like new to singing, but I was kind of new to singing. Like, so I kind of just threw myself in the deep end and just went for it, really. And it was awful. And let's say those recordings of me singing earlier on are just terrible, and I've got some other ones. And it was just like feeling it out. And I owe a lot to Rory Gallagher for the way I sing now. I've always loved the way Rory sings, so I kind of modelled the way I sing on Rory, and I got about 0.5% towards him, but yeah, I just kind of basically focused on, like, you know, how I wanted to sing, which was a lot like Rory, and just kind of went for it, really. And as far as singing and playing went, that was throwing myself in the deep end. I remember learning. I remember in the trio, in the early days in the trio, we'd play Fire. So you get it. And then you get the for me, I don't care about that. On a full heart. I like it like that bit. And I couldn't sing as I played that riff. I had to learn to do it. So it was like, you don't care for me, I don't care about that. Like that. So I had to sing in the gaps, and it sounded terrible, and it was rubbish. So is this a case that I just threw myself in the deep end? Would I recommend it? Yes, because it takes you out of your comfort zone, and you have to do it. If you're on stage in front of however many people you play to, and you know you are the singer, you have to do it. You have no choice, so you have to just kind of like get on with it and do the best you can. And it doesn't have to be amazing, you just have to be able to carry a tune. You know, you can work on it being amazing down the line. Just get through it, you know, so to say, I don't know. But I don't class myself as a singer, because I'm not a very good singer at all. I'm not a strong singer, I'm a very weak singer. But, like, to learn to sing and play, and just to sing in general, I think it's just fun just to pick up a guitar and just throw yourself in the deep end. Even if you're on your own, I mean, I love sitting and playing guitar on my own and singing on my own if there's nobody in the house, because I'm too embarrassed to do it if there's people in the house. House? I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's fun just to sit with a guitar and play your favourite songs. I love sitting and playing Oasis songs and singing Oasis songs. Not Wonderwall, but although I did see a version of, I'm going to ramble on about Noel Gallagher in a minute. Shut up, Dave. Shut up and stick to the question. But yeah, I would say throw yourself in to singing and just practice and play as much as you can and sing, and just do the same thing that that I've spoken about before. As you're playing to a song, if you're playing to a song on a stereo, if you're kind of playing a song, sing the song as well as play it, and just kind of like throw yourself in the deep end. And odds are you won't like your own voice. I don't think anybody ever did. John Lennon hated his own voice, and Kurt Cobain didn't like his voice, and Jimi Hendrix hated his voice. It's a common trait with singers that they hate their voices. So yeah, don't expect to like your voice. But yeah, I mean, I learned just by throwing myself in the deep end. I would recommend it because it takes you out of your comfort zone and it throws you into a situation that you're not 100% comfortable with, but you've got to do it. And I think that's kind of key. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. It's a bit of a long-winded answer again. I'm not very good at short answers, am I? I'm terrible, actually. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Yeah. Yes, moving on to question 2 now. I don't know why I did that. Weird. Question 2. Okay, so question 2 today is, how do you play the intro to Slane Castle version of Venice Queen? You asked how he did it. Basically, all John's doing is he's creating a loop with his line 6 delay modeler and rolling and fading in notes. And then just he starts to riff over the top. He's just creating like an atmosphere, which he does perfectly at that gig. So what you're doing is to kind of elaborate, the song, the notes he picks are out of E minor pentatonic and G major pentatonic. So E minor pentatonic and G major. So those 2 scales there are the notes that John uses to create that loop at the beginning of Venice Queen at Slane Castle. And all he's doing is just, he's on the neck pickup of his Strat, and he's just playing notes, and as he's playing them, he's just rolling his volume in. Just like that. All he's doing is kind of like, he hits record on his looper before he rolls that first note in. So, hit the looper, roll it in. And then he creates one loop, and he stops that from going. And then he creates another loop over the top of that. So he basically sets his looper pedal to overdub. And he does the exact same technique again and overdubs with harmony notes. And then he just lets that go for a while. And it's also interesting to note that during this intro bit, John's got his MXR micro amp on, and as he starts playing the riff, you see him. It does a close-up of his face, and you can see the cogs working in his head, thinking it's too because when he starts a riff, it's too distorted. There's a lot of distortion to the sound. It's very kind of distorted, and you see him. He's not happy. You can see in his face, it's like something isn't sounding right, and you just see him. You can see it does a close up of his face, and he just goes over and he turns something off, and it suddenly becomes cleaner. And that's him using his MXR micro amp basically to boost them, just get them a bit louder, because John's tone at Slane Castle is clean, very like super clean compared to all the other times you see John play. Around the By the Way era, John's clean tone was very clean. compared, you know, we know John's tone isn't 100% clean, but it was a lot cleaner than it normally is. So he uses his MXR to boost that intro, and then he starts playing the riff with it on, and then he just goes and turns it off, and you can hear the difference in sound. Of the distortion goes away, and it becomes a lot cleaner, and also the level drops a little bit. So so that's what he's using there, and like I say, he's got this loop going. It sounds a bit sterile in the room because I'm not playing at Slane Castle for all those people. And he just waits for his time. He just lets that go. And then just starts playing. Oh, my loop's not loud enough. Let's get out better, shall we? When Anthony comes in with his singing, he turns his loop off, and he just turns it off, and it just, yeah, it comes on. So as it kind of comes around from that, you know, then he comes in there, and that's when Anthony starts singing, and he stops the loop altogether. And it just goes to guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and backing vocals. So that's how he does the intro. Like I said, and he has the MXR just a little bit of boost to the volume swells, but it's just all about creating an atmosphere there, and he does it lovely. It's just an amazing intro. I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, oh my god, it's just insane, absolutely insane. And also in Venice Queen, there's some of the mistakes you can actually hear in Venice Queen at the Slane Castle gig. He doesn't quite make that note sometimes, and it's kind of, and you can hear him kind of stumble into it because he's singing and playing that, and it's no wonder he makes a lot of mistakes sometimes. But I do wish I'd kept Salter squeezing on Slane Castle though. I know he broke a string, but I'd have loved to have seen that. But anyway, so yeah, that's how he does the intro. I'm going to get around to teaching Venice Queen at some point down the line. I mean, ideally, I want to teach everything that John ever did. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. But yeah, so that's how he's doing the intro. It's just a case of his looper, the MXR microphone just to boost it. But you might not need that if you've kind of got like a, you know, kind of broken up, kind of clean sound in the first place. I say John's core tone at Slane Castle is cleaner than normal. So you know, it's very, very clean. So it's still not enough to be clean where you're going to have issues with the DS2 and the Ibanez Wah, but it is a lot cleaner than normal John, so to say. He's by the way, ear tone around the Slane Castle period was very kind of like very kind of snappy, so to say, but still very heavily compressed and kind of gainy, but doesn't sound it. That makes any sense. I don't know. But anyway, I hope that's answered your question on Venice Queen anyway. And like I say, E minor pentatonic, G major pentatonic are all the notes you'll need to create your own loop. Excuse me, over Venice Queen. So yeah, and I say just rolling in your volume. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 3 now. Okay, so question 3, we've got questions within a question. What are some of the songs you're currently learning? Some of the songs I'm currently learning are I'm learning Candlebox. Well, the last song I learned was a Candlebox song called It's Alright. That was a song I learned recently. What else have I learned recently? Slide Away by Oasis. What am I currently learning? I don't know if I'm not actually currently learning any songs at this point in time. No, I'm not currently learning any songs at this point in time. The last one I learned, I say, was that Candlebox, It's Alright, and that was about a week ago. But I haven't actually learned anything since that song yet. yeah, I can't think of anything I'm actually learning literally at this point in time. It's just a case of when something comes up, I'll listen to something and go, you know, I'm going to learn that today, and I'll just kind of go off and learn it. But yeah, so that's kind of the answer to that one. To what I'm currently learning. So I like to just sit and play a lot recently, just like messing around. I'm having a bit of a massive MG phase at this point in time with these. I'm playing through these with no pedals so much recently, so I'm not really learning. I'm just messing about and just playing about, and I'm playing songs and messing about through these. A lot of Jimi Hendrix and a lot of John Frusciante I'm playing through these as well. And so you also asked what artist am I listening to a lot recently? I really like Noel Gallagher's new song Fort Knox. I really like that. I wasn't so keen on his other one. What else am I listening to? Listen to A Perfect Circle still. Obviously there's John, Chili Peppers, Jimi Hendrix. Who else am I listening to? I listened to a lot of Candlebox recently. Well, I always listen to a lot of Candlebox. I love Candlebox. If you don't know who Candlebox are, please go and check them out. You'll love them. They're an amazing band, especially the song You or Far Behind or It's Alright or I don't know. There's too many. There's too many to name. They're all so good. Yeah, I've listened to a lot of that recently. Listened to a lot of like kind of the usual suspects, so to say. Really, I don't know. But yeah, I've listened to a lot of those, a lot of that recently. What else have I been? Oh, I've been listening to a lot of Peter Green recently as well, to a point where I'm thinking maybe next year of doing a Peter Green tribute band, going out and doing a lot of early Fleetwood Mac stuff and well, just general Fleetwood Mac stuff, like literally from like Need Your Love So Bad to Green Manalishi, basically stuff like that, and just basically focusing on doing Peter Green stuff. So I'm thinking of doing that. So I've been listening to a lot of Peter Green recently, see if I can make my mind up of what to do that. And also your last question was, what was the last song you listened to? The last song I listened to was Love That Burns by Peter Green. So the one with a horn section in it, because there's a couple of different versions of Love That Burns, and it's the one with the droning kind of horn section, and that's awesome. So yeah, they're kind of it's swaying me in that direction of next year, instead of doing like a Jimi Hendrix full-on rock band, to being a bit more of a Britishy blues kind of band, and basically paying homage to Peter Green. So whether that happens or not, I don't know. We'll have to see what the other members of the band feel. But I would like to do that. I'd like to be able to go out doing Peter's music, because there's not a lot of people who do that, and I feel he's very overlooked and not forgotten, but forgotten in some circles where he shouldn't have been forgotten, if that makes any sense. So yeah, have us answer your question. Moving on to question 4 now. Okay, so question 4. What do you think about the Marshall JCM800 2210 for John Frusciante tones and slash tones, and what's your opinions on JCM800s overall? First off, I love JCM800 amplifiers, especially the one you mentioned, the 2210. Really cool amplifier. I actually had one for a while. It was kind of on semi-permanent loan for a while, and it was just an awesome amp. I loved it. And I've always liked JCM800s. They've got something about them. As for using them for John tones, yes, you can get a great John Frusciante tone out of them. And after Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out, well, and Mother's Milk, you can see John does use JCM800s anyway, so you can get a really good kind of like, you know, early period John kind of tone out of them, but you can get a later period John tone out of them. You just need to clean them up a little bit more. On the 2210, you need to use the boost channel, not the clean channel with bass, treble and volume. That won't get you anywhere near. You need to use the boost channel, and you need to run the gain low. The problem with that is it does make the amp quiet, and you have to kind of crank the master a lot more, because you're not using as much gain. But it does give you a very good John Frusciante kind of cleanish tone, so to say. So yeah, for John tones, they're awesome, and they also love DS2s and Ibanez Wahs. So that's awesome. For slash tones as well, they're ace as well, because, you know, Slash uses JCM800, did use JCM800s, after the mystical Appetite for Destruction amp, you see him using JCM800s, and he still uses a J. Is it number 32? I think his famed JCM800. I think it's called like number 32 or number 32 or whatever. I think that's his kind of famed JCM800. That's his favourite, and you know, they're great for getting that kind of early, you know, classic slash tone of Appetite for Destruction, a really kind of crunchy sound. So yeah, they're great. They're great for those. Great for those tones. John and Slash, you can do both. With Slash, you'll be able to run the amp like the master lower because you can kind of crank the gain a bit more. But for John, you have to run the master higher because you have to lower the gain and make it cleaner. But yeah, they're great amps. Awesome amplifiers, JCM800s. I absolutely love them. I also love the 900. The 900 gets a lot of flack, and I really don't know why. I've always loved the 900. I play for quite a few different 900s, and I've always liked them. So yeah, you can get John, you can get Slash. They're really, really good amps for that. Eating my own hair. Where did that come from? You can, I'll say, they like pedals as well with JCM800s, and you can cover those sounds really nicely. So yeah, I would definitely, if you're after that amp for those sounds, yeah, you can definitely get close to their sounds easily. So yes, hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 5 now, the last question of the day. Okay, so question 5 is a bit of a difficult one to answer. Somebody asked, can I name a guitarist that's comparable to John, but isn't Jimi Hendrix? So a guitarist who's like John, plays like John, but isn't Jimi Hendrix. It's really difficult that, because John, like Jimmy, they're a one-off. They're not easily kind of I can't compare them to people very easily. I can't compare Jimmy to anyone, and I can't compare John to anybody because they're so individual to who they are. It's hard to kind of say. It's like Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead. It's hard to compare him to anybody else as well, or Yngwie Malmsteen, or Mike McCready, or Dick Dale. It's hard to compare these people to anybody else because they are themselves. So to think of somebody who's like John in this day and age, that isn't Jimmy. I don't know if there is anybody who plays like John in the mainstream, or even not in the mainstream. I can't think of anybody who has the same kind of style. And you mentioned you really loved his soloing, and I can't think of anybody who actually plays in John's kind of style. I really can't. I mean, I'm sure some people would kind of say John Mayer, but I would say John Mayer's more like Stevie Ray Vaughan than he is John Frusciante. I mean, he does kind of do all that kind of... He does all those kind of Jimi Hendrix-esque kind of things, but I feel that comes more from him being a Stevie Ray Vaughan fan than a Jimi Hendrix fan, and especially John Frusciante, not being John Frusciante. You know, and especially his solos, those kind of, you know, those kind of single note things that John Mayer does, they're not really, they're more like Stevie Ray Vaughan than they are Jimi Hendrix, John Frusciante. It's really hard to to think of a guitarist that's comparable to John in this day and age, because he is such kind of out there on his own player. I mean, John would always compare himself to people like Jimi Hendrix or Bernard Sumner from Joy Division, New Order, or anybody like that, or Johnny Ramone, or anybody like that. But he was like them, but he was himself, and I think that's it's difficult to kind of think of somebody who actually takes the mantle of John. So I can't really think of anybody, I'm afraid. I'm really, really sorry about that. That's not really an answer you were wanting to hear, is it? So I really do apologise for that. But I can't think of anybody in this day and age who plays like John. I mean, There's nobody out there doing big ass guitar solos. There's nobody doing that anymore. And John was the last one to kind of really do that. I mean, a lot of guitar solos these days are very, very tame in comparison to something that mental. I suppose there's Eric Gales, but again, he's more jazz orientated, not really like John. Yeah, so not really. Yeah, I really can't think of anybody. I really cannot. I'm really sorry about that. There's no one I can think of that's really kind of pop into mind. I'll stop the camera, and then later on tonight I'll be sat there going, ah, him! And then, you know, but then it's too late. But yeah, comment section, help me out. Can you recommend any guitarists like John Frusciante who play kind of in that style of? So, yeah, look in the comment section, see what people have put. My voice is going. So, but yeah, I can't think of anybody really who plays like John, because he's such a unique player that it's really hard to think of anybody in this day and age who plays anything like that. It's really difficult. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That's not really an answer, is it? I'm sorry. You can come and beat me up later on. But yeah, comment section, help me out here. See if you can recommend anybody who's got that same kind of touch and vibe that John has, because I really can't think of anybody. I really can't. I'm absolutely drawing a massive blank there. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this Q&A Thursday, and this is Wednesday. It's definitely not Wednesday. It was yesterday. And but yeah, yesterday was the first time I got to play guitar properly in 4 days. Oh, horrible, horrible. I've missed it. I've been able to play guitar sparsely for 4 days, like, you know, off and on for maybe about a minute at a time. It's horrible. Ugh. Don't leave me again. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this Q&A Thursday. I'll see you again tomorrow for another video. Hopefully get another video up tomorrow. If not, it'll be Saturday. I'm going to compare the pickups in the 62 to my white 60s reissue, and see, you know, let's listen to the difference between the originals and the reissues, the Tex-Mex pickup. So that's tomorrow's video, or Saturday's video, depending when I have to get around to filming it and getting it up. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your questions so very, very, very much. And I'll see you again tomorrow or Saturday. Have a great one. Goodbye now. Yeah.